I was just going to ask Neil. You say there that kind of when you look back to the, where you were at in terms of that Hillsborough game last season, you feel like you've moved the club forward. I mean, what are the key areas that you think have improved and that you're happy with, and what are the key areas that are still the kind of to-do list? I mean, I guess strikers is obviously the part of the latter one, but where do you feel things have come forward?
I think that if I was in the Premier League, let alone a Championship, I don't think I could have a better back four when everybody's fit. I think you need a back four, and I wouldn't swap any of my back four for anybody in the Premier League, let alone a Championship. Midfield, I'm quite happy with that as well. So it's just a matter of getting areas, getting fresh blood in. I think some lads have been here. I think Britain, like you said, Britain Ash had been here probably a little bit too long, and we just need a few new fresh legs in there. So I was quite happy. I don't think I've ever had that type of back four that I wouldn't worry about playing anybody in the country with that back four that's fit. So we need.
Which is ironic, really, because probably at this stage last season, it was the defence when you first came in that you were most worried about.
I was, yeah. Well, only because from what I'd heard, your bowlers and Dick Steele hadn't done so well, really. I think the fans, they weren't.
They had a hard start to their careers up here.
Yeah. I think there was both. I think you've only got to look at the way they are now as people, really, and they're so much more confident and they're so much happy. I don't think they would worry as much now getting a few bits of stick off the crowd. Are you with me? But so it's lovely to see players like that come on leaps and bounds. And when you look at your Dale Frys of this world and Paddy McNairs and Johnny, I love working with these people, and they can play. Make no mistake, they can play, and it just makes my job even more challenging that I've got to give them the ammunition that we can win games by scoring more goals and not, and helping them, because I don't think there's a better back four in any division, mate.
Yeah, and I mean, in the week, both Yannick and Neeskens had maybe their best games, but certainly they were pretty productive in the front end. I mean, is there any kind of prospect of getting them on board for next season, or are their kind of wage levels just so far out of it that it's not even really worth having the conversation?
Well, I think Neeskens has got another year at Fulham.
Right. Okay.
So I don't think there's any much chance of that unless they want to loan him out again. But I would imagine if Fulham get relegated, I honestly don't know.
No,
they'll be looking.
Yannick's out though, isn't he? Yannick's out of contract.
Yes, they'll be looking at Neeskens, I would imagine, and saying, well, if he's got a year left, should we try and sell him now if we're not going to use him? Are you with me? Rather than let his contract run now. And Yannick, it depends on what offers he gets. I've spoke to him about him and his missus. I don't think he'll get a Premier League club, if I'm honest. So it matters whether he's going to want to play in the Championship or whether he wants to go abroad. I think that's where the money is. But I mean, he's got enough money anyhow. I don't think he needs money. So it's you just don't know with Yannick. I mean, a few weeks ago, I remember reading some of the forums and saying what a waste of money Neeskens and Yannick were. When we first got them. And then the other night, can we sign these two on? They're brilliant.
Can we do it?
That's what football's all about, Scott, isn't it? It's.
Well, that's it. But I guess you're saying to Yannick at this stage of his career, look, it's a bit like the Duncan situation. Where are you going to be happy? Where are you going to play with a smile on your face?
Well, Duncan the same. I mean, Duncan could have gone for the money. Straight to play, even to train like he did for 3 weeks without getting a penny. Not many people would have done that. They'd have gone off. I've got nothing but praise for Duncan, and he'll do anything for me. He'll play anywhere I ask him to. Absolute gem of a player, of a lad as well. And Yannick's not hard work. He's a little bit moody at times, but that's how a lot of players are. And you wouldn't write off if he decides to stay in this country. You wouldn't write off him staying at Middlesbrough, because that's if I want him. If I can put up with his moaning and groaning for another year.
Just the last one for me. I mean, I do. I appreciate the fact that for 70 minutes of the game in midweek you were playing against 10 men, but still, the way that Connor handled himself and the way that, I know Josh only came on at the very end but didn't look out of place either, does that almost make you more comfortable about potentially giving some of the lads even more time in these next 3 games? The fact that, they've handled that on Tuesday night.
What it brought home to me, Scott, is that we haven't got to get carried away. It was a game made to measure for Connor in that respect with the 10 men. I thought we played well before he came on, if I'm honest. I thought we were right on it. But I think what it does show, which talking to Craig Liddle and Graham Lee, I think what it does show is that these lads have got to get games. I think next year it's a great opportunity for them, if we can, as many as we can, to get games somewhere. And not get rushed up about let's put him in the team and let's do this and let's do that. The future of them, they've got to get games experience. And I think if the more that we can get out, I know it's going to sort of decimate probably the games, but like the 23s, there's no reason why the 18s don't play in that league. It's not about results. It's about educating them, getting them more toughened up, ready for it. And that's what I'll be talking to them about over the next few weeks, really. In the next 3 games, we've got to be careful, Scott. We've got Sheffield Wednesday, Wycombe to play, having played Rotherham. We've got to play our strongest teams, and then we can't let the competition down in that respect. So but I'm aware. I want to try and help the club build for the future, and the only way that these lads are going to become regulars is if they get some experience at 20, 30 games somewhere. Are you with me? At a higher level, and then they come back stronger, and then possibly the season after is when they'll push to get the place, really.
They'll really kick in.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Good luck. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Craig, where are you? There you are. Yep, got you. Can you hear me, Craig?
Hi, Neil. Just on something. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I've got you.
Have you got me? Yeah. Neil, just touching on what you said there about kind of Watmore and Balassi and the work they've been putting in. In relation to kind of sending away Britt and Fletcher, I guess while they do leave a big void in terms of the numbers you've got up front, is it almost a case of, you look at kind of Balassis and Watmores and they're the kind of players that you want to take forward anyway because they're willing to work?
Yeah, I think you've seen, Craig. I just mentioned before about earlier on the loans were doubted as waste of money sort of thing, but you can't just come from not playing for months and months and months to coming in and knocking it down. You've got to get your fitness up. You've got to get your confidence up. I think you're seeing now what they could do if they were fit and and most players want to have a good pre-season. Up the sleeve, and they are different players then. So I think it's I'm looking forward to seeing how they are now the last 3 games, whether they can maintain it, and got to try and find a system that we can attack, that we can have a go. And if we get on the wrong end, it's not going to hurt us. But I want to see us try and attack if we can.
Yeah, and just on Britt and Fletcher and being sent away, was there any kind of moment in particular, any kind of straw that brought the camel's back, for want of a better phrase, that made you decide that it was time for them?
Yeah. When I told Britt I wish I had to put him on as a sub against QPR, I said I think I could have done more than that, Britt. But we did it. I said it in a nice way. It's not, it wasn't his fault. I shouldn't have put him on, really. That made me mind up, really. You can't help but think I'm not going to get injured if I've only got 3 weeks left. It's human nature, that. So I think that brought the camel's back.
Yeah. And in terms of, because obviously you were quite honest quite early on that the chances of Britt staying were quite low, but you actually, you wanted to keep Fletcher at one point. There was, contract talks went on, etc. Does it disappoint you, like that situation with Ashley Fletcher, that he's kind of decided, presumably, that his future's elsewhere?
Well, it disappointed me at the time because I thought the offer that we made was fabulous, really, in this current pandemic. I thought it was an offer that he couldn't turn down, if I'm honest. But as it turns out, I'm one of those that I talk to players about signing for the club, And if they say they're going to sign for the club and they don't sign for the club, I always think I'm better off without them. And that's not just Ashley. I'm on about players that I've been let down over the years with players saying, yeah, I'll definitely come, or shake my hand. But as a Yorkshireman, if somebody shakes my hand or tells me that they're going to sign, then I think it's true. I always take it. And if they change their mind and they go elsewhere or what have you, I always think good riddance, mate. And I've done that a few times over my career. And the same will be going this year. I've got a few targets. I'll talk to them. And if they say they're going to sign, then great. They'll enjoy it. And if they don't come, they go somewhere else. I don't lose any sleep over people, mate. I just think if they're going to do that to you, then they're going to let you down on the pitch. So I don't have a worry about players, if they don't come after they're saying they're going to do.
Yeah, and I mean, it's probably been a situation that we've been working towards for a few weeks now, but I guess it just emphasises, the kind of work that's going to be needed in the summer, because it leaves you with Akpom really is the only kind of recognised centre forward. So I guess big work in the summer to kind of bulk your forward options up. Absolutely,
yeah. And like I said earlier, Craig, you can't give me a list of players that are available for the type of money that we'll be paying out. Steve will support me as much as he can, but we're not in a 10 or 15 million pound game nowadays. Not with this pandemic. I wouldn't dream of asking him for something like that. So we've got to be realistic with our targets. They may not be what the fans are looking forward to. Are you with me? But they've got to be what I think are value for money at this moment in time, and hopefully can get us goals.
Yeah, and but just on that, I mean, kind of timely on Tuesday, Wednesday night, whenever it was, that Akpom got back among the goals. Delighted for him, were you?
Well, I wasn't too concerned when Aidan went down poorly in the afternoon, and the doc said it. I just thought, what an opportunity for Tuba, really. He wasn't going to play, and the other two had left. Everybody, the players knew that the other two had left. So it was an opportunity, and I think, in fairness to Tuba, I think the way we played, he right from telling him that he was playing, I think his attitude and everything, I noticed a difference in him. So it'll be interesting in the next 3 games if he gets opportunities, what he can do, because I think it's fair to say I have been disappointed at times in him. I think he said that he's been disappointed at times in me. Things I've said in the press. So we had conversations, but at the end of the day, you're judged on your performance, really, and he's probably got 2 or 3 games to finish the season on a high, really.
Brilliant, yeah. Just lastly from me, Neil, just picking up on something you mentioned earlier and something you've mentioned previously as well, about kind of going upstairs when you retire and maybe taking an advisory role. I mean, is that something you would seriously be interested in? Is it something you've maybe even already spoken to Steve about?
No, not at all. It just come in my mind then, Craig. Sorry, as long as Teesside Airports keep flying this new key flight, you never know, do you? It'd be nice for me to fly up on a Friday, go back on a Sunday. It'd be lovely, that, wouldn't it? No pressure. I can have opinion on everything then, can't I? Not worry.
Presumably for yourself, though, I mean, you probably wouldn't want to just completely leave football. I imagine someone like yourself would find that hard. But also for a club like Middlesbrough, you could really offer something in a role like that.
I've always thought that. I mean, when I retired first about 20 years ago, about 55, when I was going to retire, I wanted to do that. I wanted to go upstairs and try and help. The problem you've got when Neil Warnock's upstairs or somebody else like me is managers always worry about the job. Are you with me? If things don't well, instead of grasping the opportunity and help getting somebody to help you, like a Neil Warnock, etc., and not worry about your job. Your job, your job will take care of itself if you do it right. So don't worry about people upstairs. But I do think experience helps a lot of managers. And I remember when I did call it, like I say, at Sheffield, I wanted to help Plymouth Argyle upstairs. But I think the manager at the time was frightened to death that I was going to get the job. Are you with me? It's a great club down there, Plymouth. You'll see pre-season again when we go. Hopefully the crowd will be there. And that's a lovely part of the country that gets people forget about Cornwall and Devon. That's why I like going down there, because it's amazing how many people we get to watch the games that don't normally get to watch a live game. And it's a great part of the country. So, I want them to be successful. One of my old lads, Paul Watton's at Truro, and I look at all these teams down there, and I keep my eye on them all, and it's lovely. And that's why, we talk about the Premier League and all these top six. They haven't got a bloody clue, have they, about Truro or Newquay or Tavistock or any of them lot, Bishop Auckland. What do they worry about things like that for? Whereas that's our heart, and I'll be doing something when I finish, if I can get around, if I can move by then.
Brilliant, thanks,
right,
Neil.
great.
Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers, sir. Joseph.
Hi Neil, you okay?
Yes, mate.
Just a few. You've obviously mentioned Balassi and Cabano. Obviously, Marvin Johnson and Nathaniel Mendez-Lang, they'll be out of contract as well. Have you had any discussions with them about that?
Not really. I saw Mendes yesterday. You don't feel it's as bad as it was, but we don't know. He'll not be doing anything this week, but we'll have a look at him next week. I've not had a chance to have a talk to him, if I'm honest. I've had one or two other things on my mind in the last week, but I will get round to that. And Marvin, I'll speak to Marvin as well.
Will they be at the end of the season and discussions about their contracts?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I think we've put it to bed now. Only 3 games to go.
Just on injuries as well, was Jed Spence, Hayden Coulson and Fisher all missed the games, didn't they, in midweek?
I don't know. I think Jed will be back in the squad at the weekend. Hayden, the docs just briefly saw me before. I think he was feeling a lot better. I don't know whether he's coming in. I will find out later. I mean, if he comes in this morning, or even if he comes in on his own this afternoon, if he says he's okay, he'll be on. We've got enough room for both of them, haven't we, on the bench? They'll both be in the squads.
Yeah. Just going back to those wide players, obviously you're looking at kind of potential signings in the summer. Are you kind of preparing for those players to leave, the likes of Balassi and Cabano? Are you looking for players?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you've got to do that, Joe, really. You've got to expect the worst and have backup plans, That's what we are doing and have been doing, really, for weeks. It isn't easy because there are 1 or 2 targets abroad, and it's a bloody nightmare, isn't it? Like I say, we sent Ronnie Jepson and not seen him since. Poor old Ronnie, he thought he'd be back tomorrow, and he can't come back now. So it's difficult to go, because I want us to see all these, go and watch these players, if I'm honest.
Have you spoken to Ronnie since he came back and what he kind of saw out there?
Oh yeah, numerous. We've had quite a few everyday phone calls. We had a meeting this morning about the team for tomorrow and way we're playing, and Ronnie's been involved in that as if I would have been away from if I'd have been away.
Yeah. Just finally then on Conor Malley, you've obviously spoken to him before. Is he someone that you think is penciled in for going out on loan next season? Obviously things could change in pre-season and stuff, but do you think he'd be part of the first team?
Yeah, I think when we come back at pre-season, we'll have a good chat. We're going to have a chat with Craig. These lads have got to play. They've got to play games next year, and it's no good lying and saying, we can see this lad doing that and this lad that. They need some games. I think the next 12 months, these lads, if they can get their experience and they play games regular, get in a team wherever they go, not just be a substitute, get in the team where they go. That's the challenge. And then play the games. Then I think at the end of the season, they'll come back really strong. And whatever division we're in, they will contribute then, Joe. I just think it's asking too much at the moment just to come straight in and be in a promotion winning side. You know what I mean? And I could lie. I could tell you all this rubbish, but I don't see why I should. I might as well tell you the truth, really.
Spot on. Cheers, Neil. Good
Thanks,
luck tomorrow.
Joe. Leon.
Hey up, Neil. You
Thanks,
okay? I was just wondering, as a Sheffielder, if Wednesday United go down, it's never happened before. I mean, how sad? I mean, it's sad for the City in the same season.
Oh, right. I didn't know that, Leon.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you said you stood on Cop when Santos were there, and it's a city that's the home of football, and it's sad to see the City at a low football in there? I mean, you've obviously seen both sides.
Well, I mean, it's a great city. You know, they talk, all the people around the country talk about your Liverpool derbies, don't they, and the Glasgow derbies, and up in Scotland and everywhere else. But Manchester, and everybody talks about them, but the Sheffield derbies are special. And I've been very lucky. I've had some great Sheffield derbies, really.
Yeah.
But it's a depressing time. You know, the football club lifts the people's morale, and in a pandemic where it's already depressing, isn't it? In a pandemic, for both clubs to be where they are, and you know, for the fans, you can accept it probably if you've been disappointing like Sheffield United, but as a Wednesdayite, you know, you've got points deducted. It's not on the playing side, is it? That it's not.
Yeah.
You know, I find that more difficult to accept than just having a poor season and getting relegated on results. Are you with me? So, you know, and where can they voice their opinions, really? I think there's only that bloody calling show on Radio Sheffield, isn't there, Leon?
Praise or grumble.
Praise or grumble, I always remember that first call, Leon, on that programme when I was there. I'll never forget, and a guy coming on. I just want to say, I don't think Warnock's got a clue about tactics, and he should go. And the guy said, "Oh, right. What? Have you been to the game today?" Then he said, "No, I haven't seen the game." I thought, what? I thought, oh my God, we're in for this for a few years now, aren't we? You know. Anyway, carry on, Leon. Sorry.
There's still. I know you're going about Sheffield Wednesday, but deep down there is a grudge. There is a respect there. I mean, a lot of the old time Wednesday, and that's as much as the rivalry's played out with you and them, and there's some proper football people in Sheffield who fully respect what you've done and everything. You know,
my best mates, some of my best mates in Sheffield on a Wednesday nights, and they pleaded with me to take the job when Milan offered it me. It were them really that said, "All right, I'll have a go." Even though one or two said, "Oh wow, you'll get some stick if you lose 2 or 3 games." Can you imagine what they'll be saying? You know, you're trying to get them relegated as a Unitedite and all that lot. But that didn't bother me. That it's such a great club tradition. When you go in the boardroom there and you feel the aura, you know, like the old going into Highbury, not the Emirates, but Highbury when you walk in there. And Sheffield Wednesday's got that. Wow, Derek Dooley used to talk about the boardroom and that, and all the oak tables and things like that, you know. And it's got tradition. And like I say, all growing up, they were the biggest club around for me as a kid. The crowds were unbelievable. Peter Swan, I used to look at his shorts. They used to just be under his chin. When he wore these shorts, Peter Swan strolled about, and Gingerhead, Tony Kay, I can remember him kicking chunks out of people. You know, they had great teams. And then to see Sheffield United, you know, I used to go there because I have always wanted the underdog to do well, and that's why I was United. And Doc Pearce was my centre forward. Joe Shaw was my favourite centre half. He was 5'2", I think, Joe Shaw, as a centre half. But what a player. You know, like, when you grow up in things like that, you do. Yes, we always have a go at Wednesday nights, you know, and we call them all sorts and everything. But we have respect for them. And I was surprised when the Sheffield Star did that thing, and I said to you, 60% said they'd have me, you know, which I thought was a compliment, really, at that time. But it would have been interesting. I've always wondered, what if?
And just a final one for you as well, to go back to Hillsborough with fans there, you wouldn't want to leave Hillsborough on the note that you did with no one there, and you know, even though you won it was sad, wasn't it? You know, you want folk there.
It's always the highlight for me, getting off the bus at Hillsborough, because you have you seen it, Leon, where you have to go, where you walk you walk 40 yards and they're all queuing up there waiting. But in fairness, they always have a laugh. I always pick on. There's always a dad with 2 kids at the front. They always, and I always stop with the kids wherever they are and say, "I'm sorry, you're going to be disappointed tonight, son, when you go home. Don't let your dad upset you when he's banging his head against the wall." And that's the type of thing I miss. I love the Wednesdayites, and they chant horrible things about me and everything. But deep down, I think there's a mutual respect, Leon, if I'm honest, with the Wednesday fans and me. I think they'll miss me when I've gone. You know, and I think a lot of clubs will be like that, because I have enjoyed my time only because of people like that. You know, and there's no nastiness in it. There's you know, they look at, they support their own team and everything, and that's, once again, that's why I'm saying about this bloody Premier League thing that's not happened. They haven't got a clue about getting off a bus and what fans think about the team and the opponents and the managers, and it's you know, it's just the bank managers, in it.
What? T-side!
Be bold. Be immersed. Be transformed. Be T-side.
Chase into the corner for Ashley Fletcher. Throw-in taken quickly. This is Assombalonga. Still going, Assombalonga. Barry Bannon with a challenge. Shot hits the inside of the post. Well, Paddy McNair very nearly put Borough in front. Harris, nicely taken down. Still going, Harris, forced cross field. Good ball, oh, it's taking a deflection. Jacob Murphy gets the opening goal of the game. It loops over Dejan Stojanovic. Hassan Bolonga did well to hold the ball up. Tavernier. Cross in, took a deflection. Oh, it was a chance for Borough. Tom Lee's just lost it. And Joe Wildsmith recovers. Ashley Fletcher couldn't get enough power on the shot to beat the goalkeeper. Good work by Tavernier out wide. Lee's almost diverted it into his own net. Well, that's a poor ball cut out by Fletcher. It's McNair! Well, it's the error from Barry Bannon that's allowed Borough to get back into the game. It was a poor ball. It was a positive run forward by Ashley Fletcher. And when Tavernier played across, there was only one outcome, a simple side foot for Paddy McNair. His first goal in 9 games levels things up. Wednesday trying to work the opening bit of space here for Barry Bannon. Good stave, Stojanovic just pushing that one wide. Allowed space by the Borough defence to have the shot. Barry Bannon, goalkeeper, got across well. Bannon. Oh, it's a poor ball once again. And on the break, come Borough, but that's not what was required really from Marvin Johnson. Not happy on the sidelines, having picked off that ball that was intended for Murphy. He had player's option in the centre, but opted to go for goal himself and was well off target in the end. Forward by Johnson. Fletcher. Hassan Bolonga. Good turn. Oh, good save. Oh, he squirms away from the goalkeeper. And Joe Wildsmith, who got a good hand on that, can't prevent it from going in. And Britt Hassan Bolonga puts Borough in front for the first time. Just caught a little bit flat-footed there, the Wednesday defence. Barry Bannon was the furthest man back. Great turn, Hassan Bolonga. I think it's hit the shoulder of the goalkeeper and gone in. Hassan Bolonga, 4 goals in 5 games for him, finishing the season in good form. Referee's had a look at the watch and decides that that is it for this season for these two. Neil Warnock finishes with a victory. It's another defeat for Gary Monk.